From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2097, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, January 10th, 2018. The dawn of a new year has brought the ARRL International Grid Chase, which is challenging hams to operate on any band except 60 meters in pursuit of as many different Maidenhead grid squares as they can possibly work.
Newsline managed to catch up with a veteran of this kind of grid square victory, Pat Rose, W5OZI of Junction, Texas. In 2010, Pat became the second recipient of the ARRL's Fred Fish Memorial Award. The award is given to hams who successfully work all 488 grid squares in the contiguous United States. Pat became the first ham to replicate on 6 meters what Fred Fish himself had accomplished before becoming a silent key. Pat told Newsline that he once believed working all 488 grids was impossible. He said because it was a new award at the time, he thought it would be fun to try. He even ended up working some rare grids. He told us in his email, "I finally worked KB8U Russ in CM79 on June 17, 2010 for the last one when he went backpacking there." Remember Pat's success and know that persistence surely pays off. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
April will be here before you know it, and so will the International DX Convention.
If you're wanting an early seat at the table for the International DX Convention, you can secure yourself a spot in just a few days. Registration opens on the 15th of January for the 69th annual event. The convention is sponsored by the Southern California DX Club and is being held April 20th to 22nd at the Visalia Convention Center. The keynote speech at Saturday's banquet will focus on the Bouvet Island DXpedition 3 Yankee 0 Zulu. The team of hams is scheduled to leave later this month for the rare island, which is second on the DXCC's most wanted list. Other activities at the California Weekend Convention will feature talks by some of the world's most accomplished DXpeditioners, sharing their tips and stories. To get more details, visit their website, dxconvention.org. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Heather Emby, KB3TZD.
A sad addendum to this story is the tragic passing of David Collingham, K3LP, noted contester and DXpeditioner. David was part of dozens of the world's biggest DXpeditions and a 2014 inductee to the CQDX Hall of Fame. On the night of Friday, January 5th, David let his dog out. When the dog didn't return, David went searching. The dog had fallen through a frozen pond, and David attempted a rescue. Our deepest condolences go out to his wife, Rebecca, son Ryan, and daughter Mandy. David Collingham was 59. You'll be hearing more Cuban hams on the air soon. The latest licensing exam in Cuba produced plenty of new amateurs and quite a few impressive upgrades.
Radio amateurs in Cuba have proven themselves to be scholars. The FRC, the Cuban Radio Federation, reports that 98% of the candidates taking the licensing test on December 16th have passed. That means Cuba will have 103 newly licensed hams getting call signs with a CL prefix and 100 others qualified for upgrades to higher levels of licensing with the call sign prefixes of CM and CO. The FRC reports that this rate of success surpasses performance on the previous exam by 8%. The FRC announced that it was pleased with these latest test results and hopes the addition of the new licensed amateurs will increase radio access to regions of Cuba that are mountainous and otherwise inaccessible. The FRC is also reaching out increasingly to youngsters and YLs. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
For the rest of this week's Amateur Radio News, please listen to the full Amateur Radio Newsline report online on a repeater near you or on shortwave radio station WTWW at 9930 and 5085 kilohertz. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Jim Dameron, N8TMW, Heather Emby, KB3TZD, Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.